You know, as the great wordsmith Mike Goldberg used to say, just like that. Or better yet, it is all over. Just like that, Jon Jones has retired. On a random Saturday afternoon in Azerbaijan, a place I know most of y'all have never heard of or can't even pronounce, Dana White. You know, the funny part about this, the reporter, the lady asked a question about Jones Aspinall.
Prioritize division activity by clearing the belt.
You said the timeline for Jones, 2 weeks to decide what to do with the title, whether it takes the fight or you're going to strip him. What do you think is more important, to keep the belt there so he can uphold his legacy, or we move the heavyweight division, take the title away from him?
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Thank you very much.
And Dana's like, yeah, Jon Jones called last night and yeah, he retired. He just called us up, you know, he called my house and was like, hey, Dana, I think now is the time. Even though he's been saying it for months and months and months. And you could just see the just disappointment on Dana's face. Here's a guy that just 2 weeks ago was saying, oh yeah, the fight's on. The fight is on. Yeah, Jon Jones agreed to it. He agreed to it. Yeah, Jon Jones agreed to it. And we're just waiting on him to agree to it. Like, it made no sense. I guess he was holding out hope that Jon Jones would change his mind. Who knows, man? What a mess. Part of me feels relieved, like most fans. A lot of fans celebrate him. Thinking about that, what other sport does a guy that, you know, some consider the GOAT retires and fans are celebrating? Like, I literally saw people say, this is the greatest day ever. Like, MMA fans around the world are celebrating Jon Jones retiring. And I know deep down, like, I know Jon Jones kind of likes playing the villain, but I know he also likes the praise, and he also likes people, you know, showing him praise and telling him how great he is. Deep down, this has to sting, bro. To see all these fans, like, celebrating you leaving. Like, good riddance, bro. And here I am, a guy that watched Jon Jones his whole career, and I was on that side of saying, like, yeah, he's going to fight. He's going to take the fight. This is just like negotiation tactics. I mean, a lot of it I did not understand. I didn't know why it was happening like this. But I really deep down thought at the end of the day, Jones was going to take the fight. And to see now that he didn't, it's just like, wow, bro. Like, he really changed his legacy by doing this. People are going to look at him differently. I think Jones is banking on the fact that Aspinall is going to lose, especially in the heavyweight division, and it more than likely could happen, bro. You have to think ahead. Like, if Tom goes out there, he'll more than likely win his next fight, I would think, unless it's Francis. That could be a tough fight. But that's the fight I want to see now. Like, bye, Jones. Bye. We don't care, bro. You don't want to fight? Fine, leave. Francis and Tom, that's the fight to make. Even though Dana completely shut it down, which makes no sense.
Francis says he changed his mind and he would consider coming back to the UFC. Would you be open to having Francis back?
He would consider coming back to UFC if what? One thing I've learned over the years about Francis doesn't always mean what he says publicly. What he says behind the scenes are different than what he says publicly.
Yeah, Francis, you know, he says one thing, but he does another and this and that. Like, bro, 2 weeks ago, you were saying the fight was on. You're way worse than Francis. And what did Francis say and then do differently? Francis wanted a certain deal. You didn't want to give it to him. And y'all had a falling out. That's like the gist of it. And guess what? He went on to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Francis took a risk on himself. He took a gamble on himself, and it paid off. And now if he gets to come back to the UFC, Francis wins. It makes Dana look bad. And the thing is, him spinning it this way doesn't help at all. Like he might as well just like start over with Francis and be like, yeah, we'll see about talking to Francis. We'll see where this goes.
I'm not a big fan. I would be shocked if Francis ever came back here on lots of different levels. I'm not a fan, and he doesn't always mean what he says publicly.
Yeah.
What is he doing out here, bro? Like, if you don't, is he so salty that Jones didn't take this fight that he's just in a horrible mood and he's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Francis, I'd be surprised if he came over. Francis said he would be interested in coming back. The thing I worry about though is Francis had all these demands, fighter. He wanted insurance for all the fighters. Very like admirable things that Francis was trying to do. But we all know the UFC isn't going to do that. And so the question is Francis going to come to the table with the same demands? Because if he is, then we're right back in the same situation. So hopefully Francis can, hopefully his team can come up with a decent offer that the UFC can take, because that's the fight to make, bro. Dana needs to let his ego go, which is going to be a hard thing to do, but let it go, bro. We want Francis and Tom. Jones is gone now. He made a lot of, all that time, 18 months, bro. Why couldn't he have just walked away after the Stipe fight? Why did he put us through all this? What was the point? What was the point? Because if it was a negotiation tactic, apparently they offered him the money. He got the offer and he still turned it down. Remember back in the day when Francis left the UFC and people were like, oh, he fumbled the bag. He fumbled the bag. What about Jones? Jones didn't fumble the bag. Jones was gift wrapped the bag, and he threw a lateral pass and ran off the field. That wasn't even a fumble. He just did not want it. Hot potato, I do not want the bag. Generational wealth he turned down. I think Jones is really banking on Tom losing in the near future, and that could change the narrative. And it could, if Tom goes out there and gets knocked out by Francis, I don't know, it could make him even more popular. Fans could say, hey, at least he dared to try. A lot of times in a loss, it makes guys look even better. But if Tom were to go on a losing streak, if he were to get knocked out once, twice, 3 times, Jones is going to be tweeting about it. He's going to be basking in it and saying, this guy never stood a chance, and he's going to try to change the narrative. But at the time, when he had the chance to take on Tom Aspinall, he didn't want nothing to do with the man. He wanted nothing to do with him. He made it worse on himself, bro. If he just would have took the fight, and even if he lost, it would not have been as big a deal. He wouldn't have looked as bad. Like I said, a lot of fighters, they gain more fans when they lose. And Jones never losing, like officially losing, the fans never accepted him like that, like they do with other fighters, like when Max Holloway lost recently, which he already had, all the fans. But, a lot of guys, they don't really get appreciated until they lose. And so Jones, at the very worst, bro, he would have went in there and lost to a guy younger, faster, bigger, stronger. Like all the reasons he didn't want to get in there with him. He could have, I'm not saying he could have used them as excuses, but his fans would have. His fans would have. I saw someone talking about how, early on, a lot of the fans had forgiven Jones over and over. And I was one of those fans. Like if you watch Jones early on, he made a few mistakes. The first big one was hitting the pregnant lady. That was a bad one, bro. That was a bad one. He lost a lot of fans just on that one. But me personally, I've made so many mistakes in life that I still wanted to root for this guy. And so mistake after mistake after mistake. But you get to a point, man, where he just makes it impossible to root for it. I really do question like the few fans he has left, like how it just seems like most fans, at least on Twitter, are just trolls. They're just a fan of John Jones to be a troll and to rage bait people. That's all. It's just rage bait. They're not actually fans of him. He's not a good person. The only thing you could be a fan, the only thing you could be a fan of John Jones is his actual fighting. You know, his fighting style. I'm a fan of his fighting, always have been. Even though, he does have some dirty tactics, the eye poking. But yeah, I'm a fan of his fighting. But like, and being the overall fan, yeah, you don't have to. We're not fans of certain fighters for their personality or if they're good people or not. But it does, to me, get to cross a line. There is a line to where you can just be such a bad person that it overtakes the other. It overtakes the, oh, I'm a fan of his. I don't even want to say that anymore. But it's hard to say that anymore. And I'll never like question his light heavyweight run, like what he did at light heavyweight at the time. Even now, it still holds up. It's amazing. But the way he ended his career, it's weird, bro. It's just strange the way he went about it. He could have went about it a completely different way. I just question if you're still a fan of John Jones. It's weird to me. I don't see how you could still be a fan of the guy at this point. Like, he's made a mockery of probably one of the most important things in our sport is the heavyweight championship of the world. It's one of the most coveted things in the sport. Like, it means something. Transfer of power means something, you know? Yeah, you could win the belt and ride off into the sunset, but to just hold on to it for this long, and John can say he was being a company man and it was the UFC's fault or whatever. Nah, GSP wouldn't have done that, bro. GSP would not have done that. I don't think Mighty Mouse would have done that. They would have been done. They wouldn't have done that. They would have, if they weren't going to fight anymore. I mean, he was going around saying he was done. It was just strange. Like, why are you going around saying you're done, but you still have the belt? Why? I guess he just wanted the UFC to strip him, and so he could keep using the belt to go around doing whatever he's doing. Like, he passed up a lot of money, bro. Even if he just went in there and lost, it would not have, like, it makes no sense. It will forever be the biggest duck in UFC history. It's a relief to move on, but it's also like really disappointing, bro, that we're not getting the fight. We're not getting it. I really thought we would, just because of how it's been drug out. It just seemed like, okay, it's got to be happening. At least that's how I saw it or wanted. I think I wanted the fight so bad that I wanted just to believe, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but it didn't. It didn't. I can't even do a John Jones skit, bro, because he just left. He's just done. It's not even, there's nothing funny about it. There would be nothing funny about doing a John Jones skit because he's done. In Baku, Azerbaijan, Dana looks so pissed, bro. Dana looks like a fool, don't he? He looks like a fool. The last 2 years going around, John Jones, if he walks into a room.
You think about, when you talk about who's the baddest dude in the world, you put two guys in a room and who walks out? John Jones walks out of the fucking room every time. No question about it. John Jones is the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the greatest fighter fucking ever. Period. End of story.
We all know now, John Jones wouldn't even walk into the room to begin with if he knew he would be at a disadvantage. He's not even walking into the room. So yeah, maybe you're right. John Jones walks out the room because he never even walked in the room. What do y'all think about this, man? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, man, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Just hit it so hard like you want to smack John Jones for putting us through all this. That's worth it at least, right? See y'all next time. Peace.